Raikou, Entei, and Suicune are making their way back into raid battles for the first time in a very long time in Pokemon Go. So we're going to take you through everything you need to know about these Pokemon through the counter guides. So welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. These Pokemon are making their way into the raid battles Saturday, September 23rd at 10 a.m. and they're going all the way until October 6th. So we have 2 weeks to be able to capitalize on these Pokemon. And if you have not done these raids or these Pokemon or you want them, there's two thoughts that I have here today. Number one, this is the first time they've been back in a very long time. But number two, they have already been released in their shadow forms. So each season it looks like we are getting a shadow legendary. As of right now, we are on Zapdos, so we still need the shadow shiny Moltres to come out. And then at some point, we're going to squeeze in Ho-Oh and Lugia, and then we will eventually make our way into these specific Pokemon. I do believe at some point they're going to speed up this Shadow Legendary Shiny process because Mewtwo came out very fast and efficient, and now it's been a very slow drip on Articuno and Zapdos. But we have other Legendaries that still need to make their way into these raids, and if we go at this pace, once a season, we're looking at 4 per year, which I don't think is fast enough. Eventually that will get old, as it already has, stale, as it already has, and not very many people showing up to raids, so you have to take that into consideration. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I don't want you guys to raid as much as possible for these Pokemon and then get a lot of XL candy and then the shiny comes out and you're like, I guess I probably should have waited to raid for the shiny. So make sure to balance that play in your mind. I would prefer to have enough of XL candy for this Pokemon right now. I have a 96 IV Shadow Entei that I'm going to power up, but I wanted to put that out there for you guys. So let's start with the counter guide, starting off with Raikou. Raikou is an all-electric Pokemon. It's going to have one weakness, which will be ground. So before we go even further, let's talk about how do you guys get more raid battles. If you want to get more raid battles, you can check the pinned comments, so you can jump into the Discord or you can jump into the Patreon. We have a premier Discord raider crew which will help you get more raids. We've also opened it up to multiple different rooms so that you can make sure to get as many raids as possible. And if you want to host, you have more access than to just your local room. And then also there is the premium track to get into my raid crew, to be on my friends list and to raid with all of us. The Raikou will take 2.06 trainers at level 40 Pokemon, so it is doable. The 100% IV for Raikou will be 1972 or weather boosted at 2466 in rainy weather, which will share a weather boost with Suicune. With it being weak to ground Pokemon, I think you guys can guess the top counter. That is going to be the Primal Groudon. But let's talk about these XL candies for coming for these Pokemon. So Raikou and Suicune will be able to be using Primal Kyogre, Primal level 3, to be able to capitalize on the most amount of XL candy when catching those Pokemon. Unfortunately, there is not going to be a fire and electric combination. There's also not going to be a fire and water combination. There's also not going to be an electric and water combination. But if you are taking down this Pokemon and you're looking to take these Pokemon down the fastest, we'll talk about the counters. Primal Groudon will be number 1 with Precipice Blades. Shadow Garchomp with Earth Power will be in counter spot number 2. Shadow Mamoswine in spot number 3 with High Horsepower. In spot number 4, we have the Groudon with the Precipice Blades, and then we have the Mudslap and Bulldoze on the budget counter in spot number 5 of Excadrill. In spot number 7 and 8, we have the Garchomp and we have the Mamoswine, or even the Rhyperior in spot number 9. So there's a lot of budget counters to help you take down this Raikou in Pokemon Go. So now we're going to move into the next Pokemon, which is going to be Entei. Entei is an all fire type Pokemon. It will have a few weaknesses of ground, rock, as well as water. The 100% IVs will be 1984 in regular conditions or 2480 in sunny weather, weather boosted to level 25. The Entei will take 1.65 trainers to take it down, so it is for sure doable. The top counters are going to be in spot number 1, Primal Kyogre with Origin Pulse. In spot number 2, we have the Primal Groudon with Precipice Blades. So if you're going after Raikou and you're going after Entei, using a Primal Groudon will help you get XO candy for the Entei, and it will also help you take down both of those Pokemon as fast as you possibly can. And then on top of that, if you have a second charge move for this Pokemon, that is going to be Solar Beam, you will be able to do effective attacks against the Suicune as well. So although the Primal Groudon is double weak to water, you would be able to kind of squeeze in a little bit of strength at that same time. In spot number 3, we have the Mega Swampert with Hydro Cannon. In spot number 4, we have the Mega Diancie with the Rock Throw. Probably would suggest staying away from that Pokemon as a Mega because, guys, we need a lot of XL candy to be able to power that Pokemon up to be its optimal, and most of us only have one of those. In spot number 6, we have the Shadow Garchomp with Earth Power. In spot 12, the first non-Shadow, non-Mega, we have the Primal Kyogre with Origin Pulse. We have the Rampardos with the Rock Slide in spot number 15. In spot number 17, we have the Hydro Cannon on the Greninja in in spot 18 we have the regular Groudon. So that is going to be everything for Entei, and then that's going to move us into Suicune. Suicune is all water type, which is going to be weak to electric as well as grass. The one thing about this Pokemon is it does get Ice Beam, so that is going to be a problem for our grass type Pokemon. The 100% IV will be 1704 at level 20, or weather boosted in the rainy weather, same as the Raikou, but the CP for the 100% IV Suicune will be 2130. And it's going to take 2.35 trainers to take this down, but this Pokemon is a little bit more tanky as opposed to the Entei and the Raikou, so that's one thing you're going to have to take into account, but you should be able to do it with level 50 counters here. The number one Pokemon out there will be Mega Sceptile with Frenzy Plant, followed by Kartana with Leaf Blade. We have the Shadow Electivire with Wild Charge, followed by Xurkitree with Discharge, and the Wild Charge on Shadow Raikou in spot number 5. But the first non-Shadow, non-Legendary, or Ultra Beast counter is going to be Electivire with Wild Charge in spot number 23 to take this Pokemon down. So the overarching goals for all of these Pokemon is to, number one, get XL Candy. Remember, the shadows of all of these Pokemon are much stronger than are the regulars. That is going to be one of the biggest things to take away from this. So if you do get a 100% IV, while yes, it is cool to power it up, saving the XL Candy for even a 93% shadow would be much more effective than would be powering up a 100% IV, albeit very cool looking, regular Pokemon. The shadows are much stronger, they do more damage, and they are more effective than are their counterparts in the non-shadow form. So that's going to do everything for the counter guide for Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. Make sure to jump into the Discord, get your guys self some raids, get your guys some shinies, stack up on that XL Candy, and optimize using the Megas, because you can get the XL Candy for the Raikou as well as the Suicune, or you're going to have to change up, even use something like a Groudon, and then you can go ahead and get the Entei and take down the Raikou at the same time with the Primal Groudon. So thank you guys for being here as always, to all of my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members. Everybody takes your support, subscribe to Entei 2X. I'm going to see you guys out on the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.